Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Dana again, and today you're at Research Road. This is a weekly series where we go through science and tech news with a bit of dry humor. Then we answer some questions from y'all. Today is the 21st of January, 2025, and on this date in 1954, the nuclear submarine age dawned with the launch of the USS Nautilus. In 1958, she left Pearl Harbor and began Operation Sunshine. The top-secret mission is seen as a response to Sputnik. Nautilus sailed under the ice sheet and became the first ship to cross the North Pole. This looks like it'll be a shorter episode this week, but don't worry. I would imagine next week will more than make up for it as we sort through the impacts of all of Trump's executive orders, memos, and actions. So, starting off with tech news. Trump signed an executive order pausing the ban on TikTok for 75 days while he attempts to work out a deal. Trump also signed an executive order creating a Doge office as part of the White House. That's right, it's not an outside group. A lawsuit has already been filed over the makeup of the advisory group. And now on to space. Researchers are calling on the UN to help fix Earth's space junk problem. They're worried that we're facing a Kessler syndrome. Kessler syndrome is a scenario in which a planet's space junk causes collisions that create more debris, which creates more collisions and then more debris. A scenario like that plan out could put an end to telecommunications as we know it as the debris impacts functioning satellites. NASA may have figured out a way to predict solar flares. Now it's time to talk about the developing climate crisis. Researchers are saying a huge aquifer exists in the Central Oregon Cascades containing 80 cubic kilometers of water. That's a massive amount of water. What's even more surprising is that they were using pre-existing holes that were drilled decades ago for geothermal exploration. They're suggesting that the amount of water may be substantially larger. Trump has said he will stop leasing federal lands to wind farms. He also ended programs designed to foster the transition to electric vehicles and has once again taken the U.S. out of the Paris Agreement. In the world of animals, officials in Hawaii are trying to stop possums they believe are stowing away in containers arriving on the island. The invasive animal could be a big risk to the local ecosystem and endangered species. The Sydney funnel-web spider has some of the most dangerous spider venom known. Well, researchers found out that the well-known species is actually 3 different species. This might actually help better understand the venoms. Over time, that might help researchers work out better treatments. In health news, Tanzania has declared a Marburg outbreak. It's a viral hemorrhagic fever, highly transmissible, and without treatment, it's incredibly dangerous. Fatality rates can reach almost 90%. The World Health Organization is working with Africa Centers for Disease Control. In other news, Trump has ordered the U.S. to withdraw from the World Health Organization. In the U.S. state of Georgia, bird flu was found at a commercial facility, forcing a quarantine. Moderna has reportedly been awarded $590 million to develop a bird flu vaccine. Now let's dig up the past a little. In France, excavations found multiple inscriptions on lead tablets in graves. The inscriptions were curses and reportedly invoked the god Mars. At least one was in an extinct Gaulish language. For hundreds of years, there have been rumors of secret passages and tunnels at Italy's Sforza Castle. Leonardo da Vinci hinted at them. Ground-penetrating radar has confirmed that at least some of them exist. And now on to oddities. New research is suggesting that Australopithecus, our early ancestor from about 3.5 million years ago, was mainly vegetarian. It looks like they occasionally ate eggs and termites. Yummy. I wonder how much eggs cost back then. Trump really did take action to rename the Gulf of Mexico. He wants it to be called the Gulf of America. Has anybody given any thought to how much this is going to cost the American taxpayers? And now we're going to answer some of your questions.
What's your favorite Star Trek episode?
Measure of a Man, no reservations. I love allegories. For those who don't know the franchise, it's basically the Dred Scott case, but in space and arguing over the rights of an advanced android.
You don't seem totally dismissive of cryptozoology. Do you believe there might be other large species left to discover?
I try not to be dismissive of anything. I have serious doubts about anything on land. The sea, on the other hand, there's probably stuff out there we haven't even gotten a glimpse of yet.
What do you think of Jules Verne? Is it good science fiction?
It's a product of its time. It was amazing for its time, and it's still good, but it's weird how many Nautilus-connected items are in this week's episode.
How bad are Trump's executive orders for the environment?
Well, they aren't good. It's hard to say how bad they'll be until we see implementation, but we're definitely going to lose some of the small amount of momentum we had in the fight for the climate. That looks like all the questions for this week. This week's quote is attributed to Jules Verne. With its untold depths, couldn't the sea keep alive such huge specimens of life from another age, this sea that never changes while the land masses undergo almost continuous alteration? Couldn't the heart of the ocean hide the last remaining varieties of these titanic species for whom years are centuries and centuries, millennia? So that's all the data we have to date. Hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you again soon.